there everybody, welcome back to another one of my videos. I am an inconsistent Weight Watcher follower. I have the app, I know how to work the program. I mean, I'm human, so I make mistakes, and I think that is a perfectly fine thing. Like if you make a mistake, but it's an honest one and you're not purposely trying to fudge the system, totes fine. However, I just routinely kind of follow it, do really well, and then fall off the wagon for a reason, or sometimes not a reason. But you know, it's life, it happens. And I try to not beat myself up about it, but I do. Let's be honest here, because I would like to lose weight. I would like to look a certain way. I would like to be living a healthier lifestyle, but I also want to be able to eat a lot of Oreo cookies. It's a battle. It's my battle. But so when I started really uploading videos to this channel, I was following Weight Watchers, and so I have like a playlist where, because I was doing like what I eat in a week, and it was supposed to be what I eat in a week on Weight Watchers, and then I wasn't consistent about putting the points. I wasn't even consistent at times about tracking, and then somewhere in there I did have a phase where I was actually tracking quite well, and but I still wasn't commenting on it on the videos or giving points for the meals I was eating or anything like that, because I didn't know if anybody cared. And I just didn't think to add it in when I was editing videos. But then I want to say December, I kind of fell off the Weight Watcher wagon, which is not surprising. It's December. A lot of people do, but I haven't gotten back on it yet. And usually if I fall off because of like a month, so say December, I tend to get back on it fairly quickly once I get back into like routine, and I just really haven't. It's like December never ended. January was the longest month of all the months in all the history of the world. It felt like it was never going to end. And while it was never ending in like a, oh my God, what's going on with this month kind of a way, it also sort of was including like a delayed birthday celebration for me from a friend because we didn't get to celebrate in December. And then like there was a hot chocolate festival, so going to that a couple different times with different friends, and just sort of various like activities and outings. And it just felt like a continuation of December celebrations in January. And so I wasn't really being careful, I suppose. And I wasn't saying, okay, well, if I'm going to go to a restaurant for dinner, then I'm going to be careful about eating 0 point foods at the beginning part of the day to like help compensate. Did not do that. Just ate the way that I was going to eat and then went out to dinner at a restaurant. And see, like I know better, but I did it anyways. So I go back and forth with tracking my Weight Watchers, my preference for tracking it. Sometimes I really like to use the app and I just enter everything into the app. And sometimes I really like to put it in a book of some sort. And I've used various books over the years. They used to give you when you went to meetings like little paper trackers that you could use for the week. I've used those. I bought at one point, they used to sell a book, kind of like a notebook about this size, and it was divided out into days and you could track your stuff in there. So I've done that. I've used like little coil notebooks, you know, the little tiny ones that you can carry around with you everywhere. I've used the larger notebooks and just, you know, like I like paper planning and books and planners. So while I do appreciate the digital, like using the app, tracking everything that way, it's great when you're on the go and you're not carrying a book and pens around with you everywhere. I do usually tend to prefer tracking on paper. So what I've decided to do now, I purposely didn't do this in January because I was sort of using January as preparation for starting a bunch of different things in February, which I know is kind of off because most people start all their new things in January, but not me. I like to be a little bit different, I guess. So this is a planner. Just gonna make sure I'm a little bit centered there, that I bought just from the dollar store. It cost $4. So you can see I didn't use the January at all. And the weekend, unfortunately, is pretty small, but the rest of the days in the week have nice big spaces. So January and February are one of those months where they kind of end and start on the same page. So January ended on Friday. February started on the 1st. So I went for brunch yesterday and I got a Banchan macro bowl from Kokomo, and I wrote down all the different ingredients. I wrote them off of their menu. And then I also have crackers. I have no points for any of this because I don't know what the points in the sauce are that they use. I don't have measurements for like the rice. The vegetable section is fine, like the cucumber, the tofu. Oh, actually, I can't remember offhand if there's points for tofu. I was going to say the tofu is 0 points, but don't quote me on that right yet. The squash, I think the kimchi, the carrots, the greens, those are all going to be 0. I think the sesame seeds, there weren't very many. I don't know if there are points for sesame seeds, but if there are, there was such a small amount used. Vinaigrettes are usually lower 0. But the spicy mayo, the brown rice, and potentially the tofu, and definitely the sauce for the tofu will have points. But this is where I get caught up when I do Weight Watchers, is I like to track everything perfectly or not at all. That's how my brain goes. I don't like a middle gray ground, because then I find I can lie to myself. So I do not have a number in Weight Watcher points for how much this brunch cost me from my daily points. And I don't really have any way to accurately figure it out. I mean, I can try to think about back to sort of how much rice there was, but it was buried at the bottom and it kind of got all mixed in with everything. So it's not like I saw it in a portion size. And it would be a guess, and I hate guessing. So because usually I go for brunch once a week. It's on a Saturday with a friend, and I'm going to not track on the Saturday whatever the brunch meal is. We tend to go places that are relatively healthy anyways, so I'm not worried about going off and eating something absolutely ridiculous points wise, or at least if there are a lot of points for maybe a sauce, there's also a lot of vegetables and a lot of lean protein in the meal. So I know that breaks Weight Watcher rules already. People are already going to be like, no, you're not doing this right. And I know that, and I understand that. And if it bothers you, I understand that as well, because people get very attached to how they feel the Weight Watcher program should be followed. But it's what's going to work for me and my keeping me sane, basically. So it's not that I won't be tracking on weekends. It's that I'm not going to be tracking that brunch unless I can accurately track it. If I can find ways or places that we eat that I can accurately track it, great, I will do so. But for now, I'm not going to guess because I have no idea. And I also ate some crackers really quickly right before I talked to my mom last night on the phone, did not measure them out. Haven't looked at the nutritional information for them at all yet, so I don't have points for those. I can get them because I have the packaging. I just haven't figured it out yet. Right now, it is Sunday, so I made myself a lunch. I had a brioche bun for 5 points. I had 2 eggs, 0 points, 2 slices of turkey bacon for 3 points, and a cheese slice for 2 points. So the entirety of the meal is 10 Weight Watcher points. And so this is basically what I want to be doing with my days. But during the week, I will have more space. So you'll see it as we go through, because I'll do, if people seem interested at all, I'll maybe do like a weekly update or something with how it's going, and I'll show you the tracking. But it will be starting, really, like the proper writing will be starting on Monday, tomorrow. So I have lots of nice big space. This is the weirdest planner ever. There's a National Pizza Day and Chocolate Day and a Golden Retriever Day. It's ridiculous, but whatever. It was only $4, so we're just going to work with it. So I'm just going to write in there like brunch, or not brunch, sorry, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, whatever it is that I eat. Usually I do breakfast and then maybe a snack and then I do dinner. Tends to be how my work days go. I'm not very high active right now because I'm still recovering from an accident. So I go to physio, and I do have 1 physio appointment per week where I'm actually like in the gym with the kinesiologist doing some weight work and everything, but I don't really have an accurate way of tracking that workout right now. I used to wear my Fitbit all the time and tracked everything and had high activity days the majority of the time and loved to track using that. I'm not wearing it right now. Usually I do. Usually it's on this arm, but it burned my arm like 3 weeks ago. It doesn't look like anything anymore, which is great, but that area still feels funny and is really sensitive. And if I touch it like I'm doing now, so I shouldn't, it hurts. So I took it off because of course I did. And now I don't know how I'm going to track my activity, but I also have hardly none. So I'm not tracking activity yet. I'll make a little notation on whatever day of the week I have like my kinesiology appointment, because I know that that means I had like a gym session. And if I do something, like if I go for a walk or, you know, like something like that, something that kind of counts as activity, I'll make a notation for it. But right now I'm not going to be tracking like calories burned or steps taken or anything like that. But as we get farther into the year and I get healthier and I have more like actual proper workouts, I will start tracking that activity in some way. Just right now, I don't know. I was thinking, I'm not 100% sure yet, but the month at a glance, I might at the end of the day, once I know I'm not having anything else to eat or drink that has points, I might just put like a quick like recap of how many points I had in the day. Like if I didn't eat anything else today, which I will be, so don't worry, but I would write down 10 points because my lunch that I made was 10 points. And just to have like a quick glance of how many points I ate that way. So I get 23 a day, and I can't remember my weeklies right now, and I didn't write it down. I'm so sorry. But if you don't know Weight Watchers, the nutritional information for food is turned into points, and you get points per day as well as weekly points that you can choose to use or not use. If you want, you can sort of save them up, use them all in one day, because maybe you have a birthday party coming up and you want to have a slice of cake, or you could have a couple of them every day if you want to use, like my mom tends to use her weekly points, I think it's like 4 per day or something, so that she can have a glass of wine at the end of the day, and she absolutely loves using her weekly points like that. So it's really, they're there to be used if you want to use them, but you don't have to use them. I tend to not use them. I've always been a only eat the amount of points that you get in the day type of a girl, but you can use them, and you will see times when I either use them accidentally because I go over on the day by a couple points, or there's just, I don't know, a team dinner or something where I'm eating at a restaurant and I've just, yeah, you know, I mean, it's life, right? I use them at times, but I try to not always use them, is basically what I'm getting at. So I think in the month, at a glance page, I'll just write the total amount of points that I used each day. And then once I start tracking activity, whether I'm tracking it with like calories burned or steps or hours or, you know, whatever it is, I'll make a little notation about that as well. But like I said, except for the kinesiology appointments, especially in February, I don't think you're going to see anything like that. Put a little note there just to remind me that I get 23 Weight Watcher points per day. And at the end of every month in this book, there's notes pages. So I did batch cooking towards the end of January with the sole purpose of it being to use in February. And I was trying to cook relatively healthy meals, but also I wasn't paying super close attention to what they were going to calculate out to in points for once they were done per portion, because I wanted to make, not just for February, I'm hoping to do this going forward as well, but I want to do towards the end of every month a couple days in a row of a bunch of batch cooking where I make a big dish of something and then I freeze it in portion sizes, so that hopefully by the end I have 15 dinners portioned and frozen out for the coming month. So I have currently 14 dinners that I have pre-made and frozen for February. It would be 15, but I ate one. So, oops. And the idea is they're going to be used during the work week only. They're not to be used on weekends, and they're not like standalone. They're things that I'll need to put little side dishes with or whatnot. So I have some rice that I've cooked and frozen, but I can also make rice with my Instapot fairly easily at any point that I need it during the week. And I will also be cooking up vegetables or making salads to go with them as sides. So I made a thing called crack slaw. It's basically ground meat of your choosing. You can do turkey, chicken, lean beef, pork, whatever you want. And then it's mixed with like some stuff you use to make a sauce and a full bag of coleslaw. And then it all is kind of mixed together. So that made me 5 portions if I portion it out to 1 cup each. And it is 2 points per portion. So that could technically be a standalone. I used to eat it as a standalone, but I also don't remember if I ate it in 1 cup portions or not. So I might do like a side with like a broth soup or a salad or some veggies or something to go with it, just to bulk it up. It'll be a little bit of a learning curve to figure out what needs something to go with it and what doesn't. I made a butternut squash pasta sauce. Now this made, I've portioned it out in the freezer in 1/2 cup portions, but I think I'm gonna need 1 cup per portion, not a 1/2 cup. So I have 3 1-cup portions that are frozen. Each 1-cup portion is 8 Weight Watcher points. And I will put with that pasta that I have purchased. So I don't have the points calculated out for the pasta that will go with that, because that's going to depend on how much I make on the day, and I will weigh that out and point it out when I cook it. I also did a pulled barbecue chicken. Now this is really high points. I made this because I know how to make this and it's very good. So I knew that like I could do this and I would get a really good meal from it. I did not actually know how many points it was though. I don't think I've ever checked the nutrition for it, and it is insane. So it made 8 portions where each portion is a 1/2 cup. Now I already ate 1 cup of it because I didn't know. So when I was portioning it out, I was like, oh, like I'll keep 1 portion. I was portioning it out originally. I was going to do it as 1 cup portions. So I was like, oh, I'll do 1 and I'll actually eat it like fresh with a brioche bun and make a sandwich from it. And it's in my what I ate in a week video. And it was amazing, absolutely amazing. But I realized 1 cup is way too much. It's too much for the brioche sandwich, like the pulled chicken sandwich. And so it was just, yeah, I ate way too much that night because I couldn't, then freeze it, like, you know, because I'd already heated it up, and so it had already been cooked and then put in the fridge, this particular 1 cup portion. And so then now I heated it up to have it with that dinner, realized I had too much, but I couldn't then go and cool it down or freeze it again, because there's like rules about that with meat. So I had to eat it all in that sitting, and it was just way too much. So I've changed it to a portion is a 1/2 cup. So I have 8 portions of this, and it's 6 points per 1/2 cup, which is a lot. And especially when you consider you aren't going to be eating this alone. You're either going to be putting it onto like a sandwich to make a pulled chicken sandwich, or putting it with some rice. I think it would be really good with rice, or maybe even some like chopped up roast potatoes, maybe with some veggies on the side. Like, this is not a standalone thing the way the crack slaw is, and it's already at 6 points. So these will be higher pointed dinners. And then I also made, oh no, sorry, this is just the total. So like I said, I have 14 pre-made and frozen dinners, not including like whatever sides or whatnot that I have to put with them. And then I had cream left over because there was cream used in the butternut squash pasta sauce. So I made some homemade Alfredo sauce today. I've never made it before. I don't know if it actually turned out or not. Like, it's kind of weird looking. It made 2 cups worth, and they're ridiculous in points. I didn't include them in here because they're not technically for February, but 1 cup of that Alfredo sauce is 30 Weight Watcher points. 30! Like, I can't even eat that with like as like a standalone in a day and not have me just go so grossly over my points. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do with that. So I have it portioned out in 2 1-cup jars, and it's in the fridge cooling down, and then I'm going to freeze it. I don't know. I thought I might freeze one and then use the other one this week. Maybe I can get away with only a 1/2 cup of it. I don't know. I really don't. It's so high in points. I wasn't anticipating that. So now I'm kind of like, but I would have wasted the cream if I didn't turn it into something. And I thought this would be a fun thing to try. Could have just been a whole disaster. Because like I said, the texture of it looks a little bit off, but I think that's because I used shredded cheese instead of like fresh Parmesan. I don't know. This is not a topic for this right now. Just know that when you're making things, don't do what I do, and perhaps just try to at least do a rough calculation before you commit to making something for how many points it's going to be. Otherwise, you may find yourself surprised. So I'm going to use the note pages every month for writing out what I batch cooked for the month and how many portions it made, and also the points for those portions, so that when I'm writing in for the month what I'm eating, I can reference back to that really quickly. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of it. It's only just started, so there's not too much to show you, really. I just wanted to sort of make some videos tracking the Weight Watcher program and me hopefully following it and not falling off the wagon too early. I tend to do well when I have something to hold me accountable. The blog that I usually put a link into in like the little comment box underneath that goes to my blog, I started it because I was doing Weight Watchers, but I couldn't afford to actually join Weight Watchers. So I just had all of like the program stuff, and I was doing it myself at home. And so I was writing the blog to track what I was eating, and also talked about other things, but it always came back to Weight Watchers and what I was eating and pointing out foods and whatnot and all of that. So I thought that I would try doing that again, but in video form. So hopefully you don't mind that I'm adding Weight Watcher videos to the rotation. My goal is to have them go up once a week, with just to sort of show you how I did with my points. I am too scared to step on the scale, which I know is stupid. It's just a piece of information. It's just a number. It's just data, and you need the data to be able to accurately track what's going on. But pre-December, I was doing really well with Weight Watchers and tracking everything, and I'd lost 20 pounds. And I know that I've gained since then because of how my jeans fit. And so I'm scared to step on the scale and see just how much I've gained, which is stupid, I know. But usually what I do, if I'm getting back into the swing of things and I've been losing and then I know that I've gained a little bit and I'm upset about it, I usually follow the program for a couple weeks and then I step on the scale, because then whatever the number is, even if it's still up from what it had been before, I know it's down from whatever it had been 2 weeks prior, and I already know that I'm well on my way to making changes and that I'm doing the best that I can and that I'm following the program. So instead of demotivating myself by stepping on the scale tomorrow morning, seeing the number and then being like, what's the point? I will wait probably until sort of like somewhere around the 15th or so, and then I will weigh myself, and then I will start. I don't know that I'll give you like actual numbers for like what I weigh or anything, because I think that everybody weighs different things. We all have different like fat to muscle compilations within our body. We're all different heights and just builds in general and stuff. And so my numbers shouldn't really matter to anybody else because they're not your numbers. But I will let you know each week what I ate points wise, as well as like you'll see them because of like the what I eat in a week videos, but I'll also give you like a little update about if I went up or down and by how much. So you won't have like my total weight, but you'll have like a down 1.3, up 0.8, you know, like whatever it is. And I feel I should warn you all, I lose weight stupid slow. My body does not like to lose weight at all. It gets very cranky about it. And so I'm not going to be one of those people that's coming at you with like, I'm down 2.5 pounds this week. It's going to be like, I'm down 0.7. I'm down 0.3. I'm down point whatever. But it's fine. It's slow. My body does it slow, but it's always been like that. And I just have to acknowledge that like my body just doesn't like to lose weight, but it will do it eventually if I am consistent. So hopefully the tracking will help me stay consistent. And we will just see how it goes. This calendar is so weird for how many days it has flagged for stuff. Banana bread day, that's not a thing. But okay, I'm gonna go. I don't know if I'm gonna like pretty this up or do stickers with it or anything like that. I haven't decided yet how I'm gonna decorate it. I really just wanted to get it started because it is February and it is the month that I told myself I was going to start doing this. I'm now going to go and make myself dinner, not using one of the frozen batch cooked meals because those are for work weeks only. Oh, I thought I should say, I know that there are more, so Monday through Friday, I know that there are more than 15 dinners in that time frame for a month, even a short month like this one. I purposely only wanted to make about 15 frozen dinners for any given month so that I'm not eating them every single work day. They will be very useful. They are going to make my life a lot easier. Like they're all kinds of good things to have, but I also want to be able to swap in there at times. You've seen how I eat. I clearly like to do things like eggs with veggies and toast for dinner sometimes. Or maybe make like, well, an omelet is still eggs, but do a salad maybe, or like fry up some tofu, or like do other things. So I'm never gonna have a week where every single day is one of the frozen dinners. There's gonna be however many in a week, like it'll alternate, but there's also gonna be interspersed in there dinners that I just make fresh that night based on kind of my mood. Tonight I'm almost tempted to try that stupid Alfredo sauce I made just to get rid of it and to find out if it's worth even keeping the other jar, because it really did go kind of weird texture. I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm eating yet, but but you will see interspersed amongst like the frozen dinners other dinners that I will be making. And of course, like I only made dinners. I did not batch prep or meal prep for breakfasts or lunches or snacks. So all of those will be chosen on the day. So thank you so very much for joining me for video 1 of the 2025 Weight Watcher journey that I'm going to be attempting. We will see how it goes. I'm crossing fingers it goes well. If you're on any kind of like not necessarily a weight loss journey, but a fitness journey, maybe you're trying to like build up strength, maybe you're working on I don't know, you're a long distance runner and you want to get a faster mile. I'm not a runner. I don't really know how that works, but you know what I mean? Like whatever it is that your goals are for your physical self in the year, if you have any, you don't have to have any at all. Like this is not me saying you need to, not everybody does. This is just where I'm at right now. But if you have any, I hope they go very well for you. I hope you have a positive experience with them. And if you feel like sharing any tips specifically for Weight Watchers, because that's what I'm on, but any tips in general or links to recipes would be great because I suck at cooking. That would be awesome. I will be putting up a video. It should hopefully be up before this one about the batch cooking and what I made, and sort of showing you it portioned out and stuff. It's a very awkward video and I am sorry for that. They will get better as I progress through the year, but I didn't know exactly what I wanted to be saying in the videos, so I kept thinking I was done and ending it and then realizing I wanted to say something more, so I kind of do my whole like bye, stay safe, and then I'm like right there again being like, hey, I'm back, oops. So it's an awkward video, but they will get better as I go farther along into the year and I know what I want to say. So, you know, you can watch the struggle and laugh at me if you so choose. Anyways, I will talk to you all in the next video. I hope you are having a really great day. Stay safe out there. I'll talk to you later. Bye.